The following program contains subject matter that some viewers may find disturbing and may not be suitable for younger audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Students, they are vulnerable.
We've got students living in cars, we've got students living, on couches to eventually living on the street.
How common is wage theft?
It's very common. Employees never ever see the dime of what they're owed.
We're doing about 5 students a month. Many of those cases have someone who's taken their own life.
Every day I think why? It is a big mistake for me.
We often think of Canada as a welcoming place where people from around the world can come to build a safe home and pursue their dreams. However, through the eyes of our international students, that reputation is now at risk.
Housing are quite expensive here, even the groceries and all.
So everyone is very struggling.
2 of my friends have already went back home, so because they didn't cope up with the pressure.
We used to love Canada, their weather, their lifestyle, everything. But when we came here, we know the reality.
Over the last decade, millions of international students have been enticed by the Canadian dream. More than 50% came to Ontario. The fees they've paid have kept our universities and colleges running. The experience for many international students, however, is not so much a dream, but a nightmare. Navneet Kaur is a first-year student from India with ambitions of becoming a dentist. Why do you want to be a dentist?
Because my uncle from my village is a dentist, and all my relatives always praise my uncle. He is a very big dentist. So from my uncle, I got some motivation. So
you want to be like him in a way?
My father is a farmer, and my husband is a farmer, and in my family there is no one who belongs to professional job. So I want to become.
You want to be the first?
I paid first semester 9,000, and my family gave me that money, and after that I find a job as a part-time student job. Even they don't give me pay. I went there because in the hope I get that job, and even I able to afford some food every day, but they denied to give me pay, so I waste 2 months there.
When you worked for the 2 months and they didn't pay you, how much money do you think you lost out?
I think 600. I just want to find a way how I can manage whole things, because it is not only my dream, it is my family dream also. Their whole life saving, they just feel happy. They give it to me. I'm asking, I have no money for food. Please send me money.
So this is not just about you, this is about your whole family.
Even my family is a farmer family. They support me continuously. Even 6 months I have no work, they send me money.
My hopes, they're already gone. I am desperately looking for ways to get out of this, and that is the stress that I have right now. I don't want to add it to my parents because I know they still have the hope.
Can you explain how colleges here are kind of advertised back in India?
I heard about these seminars that are held in big 5-star hotels where the representative of all the colleges, they go over there and they book halls, fancy halls, and they create a fancy environment in there. I personally saw like 20-25 colleges to 30 colleges sitting in a row just trying to lure students in.
You said the word you used is lured.
Yeah, they're lured.
Why do you describe it that way?
They give you the programs that are easy to attain. Some of the programs that most of the domestic student will refuse, but the international student will take it just for the purpose of coming into the country, because they are painting the picture that is, absolutely fitting into the brighter future that one had thought. People who are going and, selling them this beautiful picture of Canada, and that's what most of the people get convinced out of it. that their parents put their life savings, and some of them even take out loans on their homeland, on their lands, and even on their houses.
On average, international students pay more than $38,000 in yearly school fees, compared to just $7,000 for domestic students. Many come from rural families who've put everything on the line to give their child a better life.
When I started my college, I started going out. I definitely saw more people and made friends. And then I got a work. It was in a restaurant in Brampton, and the wage that was set for me was $70 a day. I used to work from 9 to 11.
14 hours?
Yes. To my surprise, I was not even paid what I was owed after working there for 4 to 5 months. Because they were my people. I trusted them. And the guy who used to work there, he was from my hometown, but I never got paid. Employers do informal contracts, verbal contracts with the students. They know they are vulnerable and they can be exploited, so they hire them, underpay them, sometimes don't even pay them. Employees never ever see the dime of what they're owed.
How common is wage theft?
Quite common than you think. It's probably not even that highlighted, but it's very common. Naujawan Support Network is an organization in which international students and workers come together to basically fight against all kind of exploitation, may it be from landlords, immigration consultants, employers, and even from the government. So whenever a case comes in, Naujawan Support Network takes it. We go through all the proofs that an employee brings in and verify they're genuine. You can go either by public demonstration and by labor court. We try to contact the employer, giving them a particular timeline. If you fail to contact us, then we will go publicly. We will do as necessary to get our wages. Naujawan Support Network bring in a number of people. We start social media campaign, putting flyers all over the city and protesting in front of the houses of employers and business places.
We gave your father a chance, we gave you a chance. You want to speak to my attorney about this?
Taking the microphone, megaphones and chanting, demanding the rights. We're just trying to, cover the nearby streets so they know there's a wage thief that lives there.
Since it was founded in 2021, the Naujawan Support Network has recovered $750,000 in stolen wages for both foreigners and locals across Canada.
We are here to support you, to support international students, and we're here for any sort of support, finding a job, financial support, and also mental health.
So this is our regular program for international students. It's our orientation. So if you're new to the country and you're looking for assistance, or you're looking for information on settlement, or if you're dealing with depression, or if you're dealing with school stress, so this is our way of bringing them in into a friendly environment, sitting them down, having an open, frank conversation. These are students mostly from South Asia. Highest population would be from the Punjab region, where a lot of our volunteers are former international students. They were just like these kids that are here now. You can come to Khalsa Aid, you can come to this temple, you can reach out to all of these volunteers who went through the same experience that you went through.
How bad is food insecurity here?
We've been noticing a trend. So definitely with inflation last year, it was a really big issue. So we set out on a program to raise meals, and we raised 40,000 meals. We're very proud of that.
just to make sure everybody here is new to Canada, right? Yes. Put up your hand if you're happy to be in Canada. Are you happy to be here? Has it been a positive experience?
So what we're doing is we're trying to give them how to avoid certain pitfalls. So if you say depression, about 50% will say depression, but 100% will say they're homesick. There's a real issue here. There is a humanitarian issue here. So
you call this what's happening with international students a humanitarian issue?
That's when we started noticing that we're not just dealing with kids who are sad. We're dealing with suicides. We're dealing with kids who are being abducted. We're dealing with spousal abuse. We're dealing with kids who are abusive to each other, landlords abusing kids, employers abusing kids. There's sexual abuse, all sorts of abuse that are happening. But seeing how big it was, there's no way that one organization can tackle this.
The influx of international students began in 2014. The federal government aimed to double their numbers to roughly 450,000 by 2022 to create jobs and to stimulate the economy. More than triple came. In 2024, with housing scarce, a 2-year cap was imposed on new arrivals. But high debt, racism, and worsening mental health weighs on those who are already here.
I'm living with 3 more students. We are 4 in one basement. And
4 in a basement?
Yeah.
Do you have your own bedroom or?
No, I have sharing room with one girl, and we have to pay 500.
And do you like it there or?
No.
No.
Even too many days I feel alone because loneliness makes me bad from inside.
How do you get through each day?
It is very stressful. I'm thinking that why I choose to come here, why I choose this country to make my future bright. Why I come, every day I think why. It is a big mistake for me.
Tell me about the work that Lotus does when we talk about international students.
Many years ago, we would have the odd student who would pass away for whatever reason, and we would have to bring their body back to their home country, in many cases India. But over the years, I've noticed that the number of student deaths started increasing.
How bad is this? Like, how bad is the situation where international students are dying by suicide?
Anytime a young person passes away, the coroner's office gets involved and does an investigation, okay? So as funeral homes and private citizens, we're not privy to the results of it. What we do see are visual representations or things that we see, like ligature marks on the neck that indicate someone has hung themselves and so forth. So there are things that we see where someone has jumped from a high place and, the trauma in the body. So we know as funeral people what's happened.
Well, from your observations, I guess how many kids dying by suicide would you get maybe in a month?
Yeah, we're doing about 5 students a month, roughly 4 to 5, depending on which month it is. Of these students that are passing away, we're bringing them back to their home country. Not only Ontario, but across Canada, because we drive to other provinces or fly them back into Ontario and then leave from the Toronto International from Pearson. Many of those cases has someone who's taken their own life.
That's 5 families just rocked with devastation.
Yeah. There was a young person, a student, who had passed away. He was around 19 years old. We got in contact with his parents who lived in India, and his father did not believe that his son had passed away and went on a hunger strike. And we had begged his father, please eat something, drink something, this is going to take time. But eventually his father actually got ill because he didn't eat anything. We eventually did get his son to him, and it was confirmed that was his son, but it took a toll on the father.
The assumption is that they're coming here for an opportunity to create a better life, and then you get this phone call. Why was this something that kind of that you felt like you had to find a solution for?
You know, I'm a father. I'm a father of 2 children, and I just could not imagine what a parent would be going through. And that was why a number of years ago we started a charity called Suno Charity, which helps international students. So we've been able to get local people in Toronto to help partner up with them, and it's a safe place for them to start talking. Because if we can save one life, you know, we've done something.
What services does the charity provide?
So when people come in or call in, we're able to get peer mentors, people their own ages, to talk to them. There's mental health experts that we can also turn to. Even when people don't have accommodations, because sometimes we get calls for people that are living in a park bench, or there was one girl who was living in a garage and paying $500 a month, living in a garage with a bucket. And we were able to get her out.
In Ontario?
Yeah, in a northern GTA. And we were able to get her out of that situation and get her into a hotel for a period of time until we helped find her accommodations. So that's just some examples of some of the work we've done.
Have you had situations where some students took their own lives?
We've had a few, unfortunately. And it's always sad. I mean, it was such a difficult situation to be in, because symptoms were there, social services workers were willing to work with him, but it's so hard to take a student and say, come and sit and let's talk. It's only a family member that can give that love, that expression, that hug. Sometimes that's all that's needed. So a lot of students, maybe Canadians don't realize, but there's a lot of students who are silently suffering. But now we've got students living in cars, we've got students living, you know, on couches of friends, to, you know, another friend's couch, to eventually living on the street.
In 2023, videos of a homeless international student living under a bridge in Toronto went viral on social media and made headlines around the world.
So where did you sleep last night?
Under the bridge.
Under the bridge, yeah?
Last from 4 days, not last night, from last 4 days.
So we're off to Barrie, Ontario to meet up with Parth, an international student, and his host/landlord, Karen. Now they met through an app that sort of works like a matchmaking app, except it's for international students looking for affordable housing and people who have a spare bedroom and looking for a little help around the house. Now it sounds like a very simple arrangement, and we're looking forward to seeing how they're getting along. Hello, Parth. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely.
You too. Jan, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for having me.
So this is where upstairs is Karen's.
All right.
And this is our living room, our TV, little couches. Then on this side, my room's over here, and my bathroom as well.
Why did you choose to study in Canada?
Canada is a really diverse country because they have people coming all over from all over the world. And they have different cuisines, like you see Chinese, Indian, French, everywhere. Like Mexican, you'll find food from everywhere in the world. I want to be one of the best Indian chefs that are out there.
All right. Let's talk about the expenses. Studying here is not cheap.
My fees for first year were, I think, almost $18,000.
Okay, take me back. So $18,000. Yeah. That's first year's tuition, just tuition itself.
Yeah, just tuition. Not including my knife kit, not including my books, not including my uniform or anything.
All in all, how much would you say you've spent? And I know you've still got 2 months left, but
I'd say more than $50,000, $60,000-$70,000 for sure.
Was that money that you had saved up, or how did?
So my parents took 4 loans.
Oh wow!
After I'm done with my studies, like 6 months or 1 year after I'm done with my studies, I start paying the loan back. We were told that you're gonna have a different life. You're gonna be living alone, but they did not tell that how expensive it is. Like $1 here is equal to 60 rupees in India. So like, if I'm paying $700-800, that's like 40,000-50,000 rupees back home. and that's my dad's monthly salary. So the initial first $2,000 that I got, I ran out of it real fast, and I did not have any more money to give as my last month's rent to my landlord. So I had to move to another home with, that was a home that I shared with 7 other international students. So that was a big shock for me, and I was down quite a lot. I was depressed for a while. I was getting sick. I was sleep deprived. I couldn't focus on my college or anything. I couldn't focus at work.
All right, let's talk some good news. I want to know a little bit about how you found Spaces Shared. Was this talking amongst your friends? Was this something at the university?
So our college was promoting different programs like Spaces Shared. So I was like, let's at least try it out and see what they're offering. We set our preferences, like they asked me what my hobbies were.
And in terms of when you finally saw Karen's profile and the match was made, what did you think of Karen? Why did you think it was a good fit?
I did not actually know that much until we met online and talked about it. So I found out that she was an introvert and she wasn't opening up that much. So I visited the place before I moved in, and then we went ahead and signed the contract and everything.
What was that first sleep like?
Relaxing. It was heavenly.
It's actually worked out really well. The room wasn't being used. Why not give it to someone who needs it? Something that was affordable. I don't think I would feel right making a huge profit off someone when they don't have the money to give. I didn't want to take too much from someone and put them further behind in terms of debt. To me, it's not just renting a room, it's creating a home for someone. So, and we do have some similar interests, so I think that's helped. So we've done a few things where just some shared experiences, like we went apple picking in the fall, for example.
She would take me out and we would go to downtown Barrie and we would explore.
And the fact that he loves animals, that was really important to me.
She had cats and I missed my dog so much, and she made me feel comfortable with her.
I'm curious, throughout this journey, even before sort of the Spaces Shared program, did you ever consider renting your home out?
That room is now, it's underutilized. I was using it as a guest room for my parents. So I was considering different options, whether to do Airbnb or find a student. So I have an inflammatory disease along with fibromyalgia. So I get a lot of bad pain flares. Just knowing there was some there to help me with a few extra things. Taking the bins down in the fall, he helped me a lot with putting away the patio furniture, helping with the leaves and things like that. Because I'm used to living on my own, I'm used to doing things by myself, and it's a struggle sometimes. So it's just having an extra pair of hands here to help with things was one of the draws for me for the program.
Part of this travel, hundreds and hundreds of kilometers to here. Have you learned a little bit about sort of his culture? Has it given you a bit of a wider world sort of knowledge?
Yeah, that's been one of the biggest benefits, I would say, is hearing from someone firsthand their lived experiences and what they've had to go through to get here. I've never lived in another country. Just being able to compare different living situations and even being able to communicate with his family. They actually sent a care package here. As a gift to me, they actually sent a beautiful blue and white sari, which is a traditional Indian dress. So that's a really nice, it was a really nice gift and a really nice memento from our time together.
I'm not paying that much rent. I have a good home. I have an actual kitchen that is just for me and another person. So now it's getting better.
To bring in someone from the other country, you have to figure out what issues there will be. They will have to face the cultural gap, the homesickness.
They are contributing to society, right? They're working here, they're paying taxes, they're adding to the GDP and so forth, right? But there's that other side where they're portrayed a certain way and negatively looked upon.
Wherever they were born, whatever lifestyle that they were born into, whatever situation they were brought into, they're looking for a better life. And they chose Canada to have a better life. Why are we getting upset at students for coming here for employment? I think we should be proud that they decided to come to Canada for a better life.
International students' skills are vital to Canada's future prosperity, yet they are being blamed for everything from the housing crisis to job scarcity, even though they are here because of the actions and policies of governments, colleges, and universities. The responsibility for their well-being is partially ours. To continue the conversation on the thread, join us here and online. We'll see you next time.
If you or someone you know is thinking about suicide, call or text 988. Help is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you need immediate assistance, call 911 or go to the nearest hospital.